Laredo, take us out.
Take her out.
All right. Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Geek out with us live where the nerdiness will thrive. Buckle up and let's go off-world. Toys, comics, pop culture news, movies and so much more. Matthew, Jesse, Curtis, and Sean are your guides on this fun-filled tour. Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Hey, hey, hey. Let's go off-world tonight.
Woohoo! We're back. And we've got the power of Grayskull.
All
Hello,
over
everyone,
the
OffWorld.
Welcome back to OffWorld. We took a week hiatus while we did some MuskyCon, and we were being musky up at MuskyCon.
All over.
Yep. So yeah, we're back. We're gonna do some talking about X-Men 97 tonight. I think we've got a few other things to talk about. Were we being joined by a guest at some point? Or
Not
no?
that I ever had a chance to reach out to. So
Maybe later.
okay.
Okay.
Who knows? It's off-world, man. We just roll with
Okay.
it.
Well, we'll just
I mean,
roll
it's
with
Sean's
it.
show, so he'll let us know.
Oh, I was talking more Matt Rod, but gotcha.
No, I know who you meant.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
blame everything's gonna be blamed on Sean tonight because
That works.
he's not.
That
here,
works for me.
so.
Okay. So I'm Curtis. Hi.
Hi, Curtis.
I get Jesse here. Jesse, how you doing, sir?
What?
That's
I'm
you.
here.
Did
You're
you
Jesse.
survive a weekend hanging out with me?
Of course. I had a great time hanging out with you.
Did you let it all hang out?
No.
No.
No. If you were there, maybe we
Fancy.
could have gotten a bit.
I did
hang it all
know.
out, but, yeah.
I did let all my laughs hang out.
Mm.
Yeah, you did. All over
and we got the
MuskyCon.
Dooch,
Hi.
the Dooch who stood us up for MuskyCon.
I did.
Yeah.
I completely it was one of those things like it's coming up, but then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it's like, hey, we'll see you this weekend. I'm like, wait, what? Like this weekend? Shit. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was only like 5 months notice or something, so I could see where that, kind of creeped up on you like
Well,
that.
I was waiting till I started seeing, publicity for it, and
Yeah.
that still
That
hasn't
never happened.
happened. So that's that's not true. Actually, like yesterday, I saw a bunch of posts about how great it was. So that's
It's post publicity.
very, very timely.
Yeah.
I was posting
Um,
stuff for Wolf King's presence, so I mean,
Wolf King had presents. What
yes.
they get you?
Yeah, we were there. It was our we were the presents.
You were the present.
Mostly Jesse was the presents because I was doing my thing, Steven was doing his thing, and
presence with a C, not a T.
yeah, Jesse was Wolf King.
I will take the C or the T. I mean,
I
they're
think
both
Jesse is now the
good
Wolf
options.
Prince. He's like second in command of running shows. So he is the Wolf Prince.
Well, he knew nobody else would do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's by default.
Yeah. So it was a good time though. I think just from last year to this year, I'd say the Legion's presence was way up. I would say there was probably twice as many vendors for Legions, and I would say also probably twice as many customers that were there for Legions.
Nice.
So yeah, it was nice, and the Mythic meetup was really cool. We filled that room. We had more types of pretzels than what I knew existed at the pretzel bar, with various cheeses and dips.
I've got to chime in here. There were
Yeah.
3 types of pretzels, and if you were only aware of 2 types of pretzels before that
I
night,
knew of the twist. Yeah,
Twists, mini twists. You got waffles,
we had
rods,
balls and sticks.
yeah.
Balls, rods,
There's
and twists.
soft sticks, hard sticks. You got the
Yeah.
balls, you got the nuggets, you got the
Well,
rivets.
they start soft and
You
then
got-
they get hard.
You
with
got
the right
like you got
seasoning.
cheesesteak filled ones. You got hot dog filled ones, sausage filled. There's so many different ways you can do pretzels. I'm not complaining. I thought they were good. They were good, especially that nacho cheese. But yeah, the balls and the nacho cheese were the best.
The balls were the best.
The balls were
We
pretty
can
good.
quote you on that.
Yeah,
The
balls
pretzel
were good.
balls were the best. The salty pretzel balls were the
Yeah.
best.
I can work with that.
I wasn't able to put as
software.
many balls in my mouth as Steve-O. Steve-O was really putting them in there, but
Oh, I'm sure Steve-O had the most
Yeah.
balls in his mouth that weekend.
yeah, he piled up his serving of balls. So
Go big or go home, right?
yeah, but it was a good time.
Everyone in the chat.
Yeah, we got to hang out with Brett Stoddard, and I got to kind of see what that was like, and he's a great guy. Like, I was very nervous going into it because he's known for knowing where to hide bodies, but yeah, good dude. I told him at the end I would hide a body with him anytime. Just hit me up.
Nice.
So, yeah. But yes, we do have people in the chat. We've got Dave working out there. Thanks, Dave, for reaching out to me to let me know that we had not advertised this episode as of an hour ago because we're slackers.
Truth.
Yeah. Joe Gonzalez, who's always here because, it's Joe. By the way, Joe Gonzalez this Tuesday, Legion's Lair, we go Joe Gonzalez live. So be there.
We might not promote our show, but we'll promote other shows.
Yeah, we'll promote Joe like the Dickens because, man, people need to know Joe. On Ryu 83,
And
we
knowing
got
Joe's
Rick.
half the battle.
That's true. Rick Emmert, DJ 5000. We've got Trevor Williams out there. It was awesome to see Trevor there too at Mesquite Con. So yeah, that was fun. Wholesome Warlock, they're in Toylanta right now. So appreciate you joining us there, Jordan. Giving us some pictures and whatnots from Toylanta. I saw Tanya McCoy went live earlier. Man, it looked like they were hopping. So yeah,
it was good to see
busy.
Trevor's twin Revort there as well with him.
Oh yeah,
Trevor and Revort.
yeah, yeah. He just needs the scar on his face, but no, yeah, it was cool. I mean, Mal and all those boys, and like, yeah, there was a lot of folks there. There's folks that I really haven't hung out with, and that dinner Saturday night where. Okay, here's a little behind the curtains before we get into toy pickups. Like, I love those My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me guys. All right, those guys are cool, but they are the biggest fucking slackers in the world, man. They cannot make a decision for anything. So it's like all show long. Like, okay, so you get all these people that come to your hometown, right? And there's all these Legions folks there, and you have the whole plans for the Mythic thing Friday night. But then Saturday, it's like after the show, everybody's going to want to do something. Everybody's going to want to hang out because this is our last chance to kind of soak up everybody's, vibes and stuff before we have to go back to our normal everyday ho-hum lives. And so like all day Saturday, I'm trying to get one of them to make a decision on where in their hometown we're all going to go eat or what we're going to do. And can't get anything from Steven. Like Steven's like, oh, I'm going to go home after the show. And you guys just call me and tell me what the plans are.
So Steve had the same plans as he had last year then.
Basically.
Okay.
And then talk to Pete. Pete's like, oh, I got so much going on with the show. I really can't think about it right now.
Yeah.
Then you talk to Travis. Travis is like, I don't know. Not sure what everybody's going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. And then Jeremy doesn't care. So, So it ends up being like the show ends and people are still trying to figure out where they're going, what they're doing. And man, my feet were hurting, which doesn't make sense because I was sitting down most of the time. Jesse was the one standing. He was the workhorse. Wolf Prince over there. but my feet were hurt, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the hotel restaurant, and whoever's there is there. And it turned out that everybody fucking went there.
Yeah.
Eventually everybody made it there, but we got to sit with some folks that we don't normally kind of hang around with as much, and it was a lot of fun. So I had a good time. What about you, Jesse? For your first MesquiCon, what was and you've been to quite a few different shows on the East Coast. What are your thoughts of the event?
I thought it was great. Like you said, like I can't compare it to last year because I didn't go, so I don't know what the overall attendance appearance was, but it was a really cool venue. I thought like the hotel and the place was really nice. It was real easy to get in and out. The hall was really cool. Like I really liked I mean, as far as like a convention hall goes, it was really nice. The show itself, I had a lot of fun. It was cool getting to see a lot of folks. I only get to see at Legion's Con, yourself included, and get to meet new people. Like you've said before, and other people always say, getting to introduce people and like teach people about what Mythic Legions are and specifically what Wolf King does and everything was really cool. But it was a great that dinner with who was it? You and me and Brett and Eric at a table, and then it was Dusty and Ange, Brian and Stacy, and
then Alexander and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was fun. And then Trevor and Nate popped in at one point, and Mal came over and we're talking, and then everybody else was in the other room. It was a good time. So
we had the better room because the acoustics in that other room were horrible.
They were pretty rough. So but yeah, it was a good time. Missed the Dooch. Wish you could have been there.
Me as well.
Yeah.
One of these times.
That would have been good. I think from what I've heard, the overall attendance was actually probably the same or even down, but the Legion's presence was way up. So I think it's just kind of local advertising. And there were some issues where I guess there was like there was a St. Patty's Day parade on the same day, and there was like some other women's event that was going on that there were some other things going on that same weekend that I think were drawing people to on top of, they didn't know what the fuck was going on. So which would help. So we'll see. But if all the people that were vendors last year came back this year and then more, if all the people that came this year come back next year and we add a few more, I think it's going to really become kind of a hotbed at this time of year for, some Legion's presence. And if they can do, I don't know, any promotion whatsoever locally, I think it'll be a pretty great show. So,
or even not locally, really, because with the Four Horsemen making that an approved stop, like that's big there, especially for us in this corridor where we really don't get anything. We have shows, but they're not Four Horsemen shows.
Yeah, but you got to remember, there's like I don't know, 100 plus tables in there, vendor tables, and only like 10 or 12 of those are Legions.
Right.
There's other people there trying to sell, pens and keychains and toys. And
no, I know. I'm just saying,
it
could be a destination for us down here in Indiana, Illinois, even Wisconsin, maybe depending on where you're at. Don't sell out. Obviously local is great, but don't sell out the surrounding states here. That it could be a draw.
Oh yeah, for sure. But there was one guy that is, I guess, friends with the folks from My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me podcast, and he came up to the Horseman table where Travis is at. He's like, man, I didn't even know this thing was going on until I saw your Facebook post today.
Right?
Like, how do you live in Michigan, in Muskegon, and not know that was going on this weekend, unless they're just that little promotion? But but yeah, hopefully they, those boys, I love them, but they're kind of lazy. So hopefully next year they ramp that up a little bit and we go from there. But it was, man, I tell you what, that Mythic event Friday night though, Pete was on point, man. You get him on a mic and man, that boy can cook. And then Jeremy did his thing with his little reveal, and yeah, it was a good time. So
I think it's one of those things, where, I mean, I know this is the 6th year for the convention, but last year was the first real like Legions event of it. And
Correct.
I think, with it this year having more, you said the Legions presence was more, I think, for us, and the stuff we're interested in, just the word of mouth, us talking about it, the people talking, the Mythic meetup on Friday night was I think a big plus, Maverick paying for almost everybody that went in. I think, and all that stuff, it's just going to be one of those things that the more, because like what they said, the first Legions Con was pretty much like a glorified closet space, off of a Toy Con. And Toy Con has a lot of toy vendors, but there are some people doing the keychains and tchotchke stuff like that I saw at Mesquite Con for the couple seconds I walked around the show.
And I tell you what, I love these events where you can just stay in the hotel the whole time if you want to. Like you park on Friday or whatever, you get there and you don't have to move your vehicle until you're getting ready to go home. Everything is just right there. You can do the show, you can hang out with folks, you can get a drink, you can get some food. That's just really nice. It's very super convenient. So yeah. All right.
Yeah, having that was nice, and had a really good breakfast at the buffet.
Yeah, the buffet wasn't too bad. Yeah. I mean, for $14. I mean, like it was free, but it was still, it was pretty good.
I got my $14 worth.
Yeah. We're 17 minutes in the show. How about we talk about some toy pickups?
Toy pickups.
Jesse, do you have stuff to show off?
I've still not fully unpacked everything from, the travel cases for everything, but this came in the mail, so I didn't get it at Mesquite Con, but it came home with me because of Mesquite Con. This is a custom that Ange did and was at the Dang Studios table. Is a Fuzzmonk. Curtis and I had featured on.
And if you can't see it, it's because he's camouflaged.
Yes, there is a toy in my hand, and it's not.
She posted that one picture, and like you said, you had trouble seeing him. I must have looked at that picture for 5 minutes. I'm like, he's not there. Like, this is just a picture of like a bush. And then I was like, oh shit, there he is.
It was because it was a wider shot than I thought it was. Kind of like my face now. That's the only thing I have at hand to show off. I've got, my Lee Jays and Hagnon came in that I had pre-ordered through, Sven at Death by Collectibles. Though that Lee J figure is really freaking sweet.
You got the rest of your Poxus now? Because I picked up from the trade with Curtis. I got the rest of my Poxus. I got another Boreer. So I mean, I definitely have some stuff. It's just all over the place. Really cool. I got a staff from one of the light up LED staffs from Carver Customs table, and I got one of those glow in the dark thrones from Dusty at Dang Studios. I can't believe I missed those staff. I didn't even see them the whole time until after everything was done. So
I had just missed them selling out. I missed the one I wanted last time, so when he did more, he like tagged me a couple times to make sure I knew. I was like, I'm gonna come get one.
I thought he had some leftovers go up on Facebook.
He made a post in the Cabal. Yeah,
but Curtis is saying he didn't even see him at the table.
Yeah, I didn't see him at the show.
Yeah, so. I just wanted to let anybody know if they are looking. There were some available.
Look for
in the Cabal.
In the Cabal under Brian Lynn, or I believe on Instagram under Carver with a K Customs. Carver Customs, double both. Yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of stuff from MesquiCon, I had something I wanted to show you guys, and I can't remember where I put it. But all right, what about you, Dooch? You got anything?
I do have something. So I did pick up. I had two off Mattel Creations. I did pick up the Masterverse Snout Spout. So Shipped really fast considering it was a pre-order. So
Let's say, didn't that just pre-order like on Saturday?
yeah, apparently. So they've been calling them pre-orders, but they have at least some in stock. And if you order quick enough, you'll get it right away. So he's
I
pretty
remember
badass.
when they got the snout spout on the Origins one on one of the Offworld episodes a while back.
He's got
So
the
the
old
snout,
Offworld.
does that it kind of looked like it clicked there, or is it? Is
so
it
yeah,
like
so you
ratcheted?
got one,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5 points of articulation in the snout alone. Where you got, I mean, it's not much, but it's definitely there. You can.
And is it like bendy or is it like?
No,
like-
it's a ball joint.
okay. And it's
close.
frozen.
But there is a little ball joint in there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then the translucent water effect that's removable. And this dude is just massive. He's got he's got the extra hoses; those are all removable. And then the backpack. But this guy, okay, so here's him. Here is a standard Masterverse figure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big this guy was until I got him unpacked. Here is him.
I missed it. Did you say he squirts?
Yes, all over you. No, no, he's got the effect. He's got. You can't actually put anything in the backpack. No.
And that was next to
Pumping to make
classics, and that's the alternate head for classics.
That's the classics
right?
with the head pack head.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my vintage classics head, he had the foam trunk that split, so I still have it, but I don't display it.
Very common.
And then he also comes with the fist hands and his axe, which is also ginormous, especially compared to like the classics axe.
Oh yeah,
so
that's big.
Yeah, he's a big beefy guy. He looks awesome. Oh, and I probably have no way of because I don't, but he does have the light piping, so his eyes will.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
There we go. It's kind of
he actually just popped in. There
Yep.
it is.
Yep. So
That's pretty cool.
Really well done. Oh, and then like on his belt, he's got a little gauge that you can.
Oh, that's
actually
neat.
Spin it around, and it is removable. He does have his classic.
Is that like a water pressure gauge? Is that what that's supposed to be?
I would guess it's more like a full to empty type of thing, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then underneath that belt is removable, and he's got his classic blue trunks with the tusks on under there.
His trunk is gray or silver.
Yes. Oh, and his tusks are articulated as well. You can move those.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
You said it was blue.
Oh, and the ears. So
The
lots
ears
of
are articulated
articulation.
too?
On him. You can Dumbo
nice.
him.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm really impressed. He's one of my favorite characters, so I had to bite the bullet no matter what. But yeah, these Masterverse are really blowing me away. Probably my one criticism is that I wish they added like the leg and the armbands, and I kind of wish those were removable, just so you could strip it down to completely classic look if you wanted to. But that's like a small nitpick. I'm trying to find something to be nitpicky about at that point.
Yeah, I also like to take
Okay.
clothes off my elephants.
Yep.
So.
He's even got steel toe boots.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they really leaned into that. And then in the packaging, he came with this cool backdrop of like this snake temple. And then of course the art.
Is that Nate Bart's art?
I
That's not
can't
Nate Bart's
recall.
art.
I want to say it's Nate, but I'm not sure because there's like 3 different guys that do the art. So, but yeah, they really stepped up the box and everything.
So what's the significance with him and was there something with him and the snake people? Is that what that is?
They came out in around the same
Okay.
time. They were the later wave.
Gotcha.
I think that's all it is. There's nothing like huge. Usually he's created by Hordak in his origin story. So
Interesting.
but yeah, I think it's just because he was released later in the line in those snake waves that they chose to go that route. It could also be a tease that they're going to get into Snake Men and Masterverse because they've done some stuff in Origins, but they haven't really touched. They haven't at all done any Snake Men in the Masterverse line.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe they're hinting that there's a snake in his trunk, and it's not
maybe.
really.
Wow, Jesse is dirty tonight.
Why'd it have to be snakes?
Why is that dirty?
Everything you say is dirty.
All right.
Oh no, I make everything you say dirty. That's
That
Mud.
it for you, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can shed some light on the subject.
And now for 20 minutes of Curtis's toys.
Yeah, I got. Actually, there's a lot of stuff like Jesse that I have put away, so I don't have everything out. But I'll start with this. I got my box from Carver Customs. Let me move myself over here. Box from Carver Customs for my my Charbots. So I got 3 bodies plus all the different accessories on there. So you got like all the different arms and attachments for the top and everything.
Nice.
So I'm excited to get into that. They're really cool. I bought some stands to go with it that he was advising to get. And then the attachments also work on the cosmic body. So like this is I put the drill part on this like science officer arm. So it's neat because the attachments will work for those ports as well. So I'm excited to see like what kind of different options that we'll have with those. Then I've got
talk about that head that was on that figure.
Oh yeah. This head is an Eric Miller, which I got a couple Eric Miller heads. Let me see if I can back this up a little bit. A couple Eric Miller like alien heads, and a couple John Caulfield heads that were really awesome at MesquiCon. So this one I really like because it's like a little $5 value head that like they sell it at Wolf King, and it doesn't have like a lot of these, like there's these orange dots and stuff on top, which this might be too much light. Hold on. There's these like orange dots that he put on the top. Those aren't like sculpted in there. Those are just like he made it look like they're sculpted just with the depth that he painted on it. Nice. But yeah, he just did a great job of creating depth that really isn't there in the sculpt. So that was cool. Don't have the ones from John, but he did some awesome ones too. He did actually. I do have the one next to me here. If I can pull this out without knocking everything down. He did this one here, which now I think I need some more light. He did this like a lithid head, and he like did. Hold on, this lighting situation sucks. So he did like these like weird blue colors with the purple and stuff. Man, this is just terrible. I need to find a better lighting situation. But anyways, it's cooler than it looks on here. But he did a great job. So
they are both of those heads are gorgeous heads, and like the details, like the fine shading and like the different layers and stuff are both amazing pieces.
Yeah. So those are some of my stuff from MesquiCon. I have more, but a lot of it's packed away. I did get this in right before MesquiCon, which is from the Superpowers line, the new Superpowers line. Once again, too much light. So this is Green Lantern, obviously, and this is just a really fun line. I know we were talking about like the Mattel Creations Origins and stuff right before the show about like, you know, you get it from there like that. I think you said the Cyclone was like 25 and then shipped.
Yep.
Like this thing's $10. It's $9.99. And you can oftentimes when the new ones are coming out, you can get them from Amazon. So if you have a Prime membership, you get free shipping. So for $10, you get this look that like for me, this is super nostalgic. Just hits me right in the feels. So I did order 2 of these. I got one. I'm keeping a lot of them in the box. Only the ones like put out some characters that were not in the original Superpowers line. So those ones I'm not really collecting. But the ones that were in the original line, I'm keeping one in the box. And if it's one that I really like this one, I get an extra one to open just to kind of play around with. So
do they have an action feature? You squeeze the legs or anything, or no?
They don't have the action features. I think they're really trying to focus on the value of it and keep the price down. But you know, I'm not really. If I was a kid playing with it, yeah, the action features were cool when I was a kid. But you know, for somebody just trying to hit that nostalgia feel, I'm good with it. What it is. So,
agree.
This one. Okay, so I've been fighting this for a while. I've been telling people on our shows, like I don't want. There's two lines I didn't want to get into. One was Glyos, and one was AWOC, because I feel like they're ones that I could really go down the rabbit hole. I've had several people try to give me an AWOC figure, and I did not want to take it. I've turned down several people, including Dave Orkin, who's in the chat, Steve from Articulated Times on Instagram. He stopped me at MesquiCon and he tried to give me an AWOC figure, and I told him no. And he told me that he wasn't going to take no for an answer, and I still told him no. And then he like twisted my arm, knocked me to the ground, and threw it on top of me, and then ran off.
That's
so I ended up taking it, and I opened it up in the hotel room. I played with it on Saturday during the show. I had Steve kind of do some posing on it. And so this is the guy that I got, and man, it does look so fucking cool. Like, I will say that after I opened it, I mean, I'm very impressed with the figure. I actually did go to like Big Bad Toy Store and look at the other figures in the line and stuff. And so far, I have not felt the need to pull the trigger on a bunch of these. But there's definitely going to be one or two that I'm going to have to get. It's just a really cool look. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was neat. Then I got a little. Hold on, I got a little something here. You guys are gonna you might have to squint a little bit. It's a little tiny.
Yeah, Dave, you're literally gonna have to. Okay. Oh yeah, Dave, you're gonna have to wrestle Curtis to the ground to give him one next time.
So this is, and it won't fit on the camera in one shot, but this is my giant knockoff Defensor combiner figure that I got for $105. I did get a separate, because it's not like real Transformers, so it doesn't come with the stickers. So I did have to get a separate sticker pack off of eBay that I added some of the Autobot logos and stuff. But man, I absolutely love this thing. This was my Defensor was my favorite Transformer growing up. I had a love for, all the, like, there's all the rescue vehicles and stuff. And I just thought, it was, I don't know, it was just something that you really were supposed to respect and honor, the firefighters and policemen and stuff. And then I grew up and met Pete and Travis and realized it's not quite the same. But yeah, this guy is freaking awesome. And it was like $105. Like, it's a chunky boy. It's a lot of plastic for $105. So, and then last but not least, I got in the Mafex Wolverine, which is one that I've wanted for a while. But it was out of stock everywhere. So it was like $300 if you wanted it on eBay. They just started doing some reissues of those. They are on, last I checked, they were still on Big Bad Toy Store for like $95 or something. But the claws on it are like very, like they're all straight and parallel, and it doesn't look great. So I found on cannabeams.com, they've got some metal claws, which Van had recommended I get. The problem is those metal claws are made for Marvel Legends, because the Marvel Legends claws, you can actually pull out each individual claw, and there's like a slot in there that you can just slide the metal ones in. Mafex doesn't have that. So I had to do like 6 hours of customizing on this thing to make the metal claws work. And the overall look is good, but I was so freaking frustrated with this, I almost threw it at the wall by the time I was done. But and I think I've got a picture on the Legend Daddy group, but because I don't know if this is going to get clear, but I mean it. So yeah, these are now metal claws. They've got a little curve to it at the end, which you kind of see it there, maybe. But anyway, it just looks really awesome. I'm very happy with it. I had one of the guys from the Mayfex, one of the Mayfex Facebook groups, reach out to me after I posted it and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing another one of those for me?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." Like it was the most frustrating custom job I ever had to do, but I do like the overall look. So there you go. So I got that just in time for our discussion tonight. So
nice.
Yep. And that is everything that I've got to show right now. Anyway, I did get a really cool translucent skull thing with flames from Dusty at Dang Studios. But I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere around here. But anyway. So.
And I did drop the link in the chat if anyone wants to check out the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Kickstarter that's going on right now. Some good stuff in there, actually. They got.
If Curtis spaces out during our conversation tonight, we can just assume he's perusing that.
Yeah. I did see somebody had posted another toy line that I was trying to stay away from. Is that what is it? Metaversal Travelers or whatever. They were at Legion's Con. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
I saw that they had a couple figures that they were doing some photo shoots on and stuff, and man, that looks cool too. So I don't know. There's only so much space for all this shit though. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So that's toy pickups. Where to next?
You want to do this week first?
Well, how about we do the Event Horizon? Talk about some stuff coming up. Because I sent one to you guys. I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at it, but the Beetlejuice 2 trailer dropped.
Totally watched that.
Little teaser. Did either of you get it? Jesse, did you get a chance to watch it? It's like 50 seconds.
I watched it yesterday when it came out.
And what are your thoughts?
It's a sequel. I have nothing against Beetlejuice. I saw it once as a kid. It freaked me the hell out. I've never gone back to it. I'd like to watch it with someone who enjoys it. Not just on my own. I get more out of something like that way. So if you guys want to come over this weekend and watch Beetlejuice, come on over. I like that they did Beetlejuice as the title, which just makes me think there's going to be a third one coming in another 35 years. So it's Beetlejuice.
I don't know if Keaton will make it to that, but okay.
I mean, it'll be AI at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'll be honest. When I first heard that they were making a sequel, I was like not interested whatsoever. But I figured, I'll take a look at the trailer, and I don't know, man. Keaton looks even creepier as Beetlejuice as an old dude than he did before. And, you got Winona Ryder back in it. I don't know, man.
Coming in.
Yeah, I took a look at that little teaser, and it's only like 50 seconds long. But after seeing that, I'm like, man, I'm all in on this. Like, I'm excited. So
I didn't watch the trailer, but I have seen some stills and stuff, and it looks like it should be good. Kind of like Beetlejuice never really freaked me out. I was older when I saw it for the first time, but it's definitely not like a huge. Like, I respect pop culture, but I'm never just like, hey, let's just watch Beetlejuice,
right?
So, but I'll check this out. It looks enjoyable. Burden being back, they rebuilt the entire house from the ground up for shooting and everything, and Winona Ryder still looks good. Jenna Ortega will do fine as her daughter. Like
Mhm.
I think it will be a good sequel. I'm not looking at anything like groundbreaking, revolutionary, but I think it'll do justice to the original.
I'm interested to see how it goes because the first one, you know, like Jesse said, there are like when you're watching that as a kid, there's some creepy vibes to some of that stuff. It's not like it was a scary movie, but there's definitely some stuff in it that's kind of creepy. And I'm wondering just from the teaser if they're planning on amping that up a bit because it was a very dark teaser. Like it just, you know, just the way that Keaton looks and the way that he's acting, like I'm wondering if they kind of ramp up the scare factor and kind of tone down some of the cheesiness. Because that's one of the things that like when I've watched that as an adult, it doesn't really hold up the same way as when I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like some of that is just there's quite a bit of cheese factor to it. So I'll be interested to see how they do it. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that some of those original cast members are in it and the overall look, I think it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. So we'll see. And, if Joe Gonzalez likes it, that's one of his all-time favorite movies. So there you go.
You realize you pull up comments like 2 minutes after I pull them up, right?
I know. I saw it. I was just, you didn't say anything. You just do like this. You go.
Yeah.
So I was actually actually commenting on it and saying how much we love Joe Gonzalez.
We do love Joe Gonzalez. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to just talk about the comment without pulling it back up. So yes, I knew you pulled it up. I am actually here and aware of what's going on the screen in front of me. So.
Keaton is the villain, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe tonight in this moment, but
I don't know. I mean, I also saw the Beetlejuice cartoon series, and I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say he was the villain.
He wasn't. He was in the movie though.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else coming up that you guys, any trailers or TV shows or anything else coming up that you're excited for Event Horizon?
There's one I've heard about. Actually, I just heard about it today, and I have not checked it out yet, but it sounds a lot of readers. And apparently it is a reality style show, but it's basically like murder mystery meets reality TV, where they have these contestants go into a castle and some of them are traitors and some of them are not. But the contestants don't know who's who, and they have to work together and complete challenges to earn money for the prize pot. And then they do like a vote off style thing at the end of, the episode. But then at the same time, the traitors, if they don't vote off a traitor, then the traitors go and murder somebody else. So like it sounds pretty neat. I'll probably check that out. So.
Okay.
Am I lagging or are you guys?
I Curtis is quite. That's what was going on. Curtis was talking, but he was muted.
Oh, I was muted.
Okay.
What? I'm sorry. What's the name of that again?
The Traitors.
The Traitors. Okay.
Yeah. So
like TRAITORS.
Yep.
Or,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because some of them are traitors and
Gotcha.
some of them are not. So.
Gotcha.
And they got to try and figure it out. But
I didn't know if they just like traded things. Okay.
They're day traders.
That's it. I mean, it sounds all right. Sounds interesting. Jesse, anything coming up that you like, or are you just gonna shit all over anything that comes out now? So
what?
Beetlejuice, X-Men. I mean, you just don't.
I didn't shit on Beetlejuice. I just said I don't have an attachment to the old one, so I'm not as excited with people that have it's a cornerstone of their 80s childhood or whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna see it. I'm just not. I don't have that nostalgia excitement for it. I'm excited for Ghostbusters next weekend and King Kong Godzilla, the New Empire, in 2 weeks. So I'm really excited for those. I know that's not new trailers, but they'll be hitting theaters soon.
You saw Ghostbusters has a terrible rating right now, right?
I don't care about ratings. Ratings are dumb because that's another thing coming up. They announced the Acolyte trailer for Star Wars, and I'm pretty excited for that. I mean, I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to Star Wars, but I saw that it has like the worst, or the highest number of like thumb down votes on YouTube or whatever.
What is it?
The Acolyte, the new Star Wars Disney Plus series coming in June.
I didn't even know there was a new Disney Plus Star Wars series.
Yeah, they just dropped the trailer this past week, I think.
And I think it's not attached to any of the current. It's not part of the Skywalker saga. It's a whole new story. I believe it's set in the High Republic era, so it's like 400 or more years in the past.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think it's. I mean, that's a whole different conversation to break down the psychotic fandom that is the Star Wars. The people that love Star Wars so much, they need to hate it and make everybody else hate it. But
I mean, is it like surrounding Jedis, or is it like something different? Or
it looks like, I don't know if it's I don't think it's old enough to be like the original Rise of the Sith, like the original. But it looks like maybe like a return of the Sith to that era, like they'd been in secret. Because the poster they put out the other day, I thought was really cool. There's been a lot of memes making fun of it, but I thought it was cool. It's like a lightsaber, and instead of being ignited, it's on a white background. It's like a blood streak, and it says like in a time of light, a darkness will rise or something like that. And people have been doing one where it's like a dog, scooting its butt across the floor, leaving a turd streak or something. But I'm pretty excited for it. Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix is in it.
Gotcha.
There's a Wookiee Jedi. I mean, sign me up.
Wookiee Jedi, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's only 100 years before Phantom Menace?
Gotcha.
Only.
Okay. Well, the High Republic book series is like 400 years before the Phantom Menace. So
right. Still far enough back, it shouldn't have any...
Well, yeah.
We should be free of all that.
I'm just looking at the pictures for it. Looks like somebody's got a yellow lightsaber. I like that.
That's one thing I'm going to blame Lucas for on Attack of the Clones. They should have all had different color lightsabers in Attack of the Clones. I don't know what it was that they made that decision to make them all blue and green except for Mace Windu. But in the game that came out with Phantom Menace, there was like every color of lightsaber.
His is the lightsaber that says "bad motherfucker" on it. Oh, I think that might be a different movie. Never mind.
I love you, Joe.
Dave Orkin says season 4 of The Boys. What do you guys think about The Boys? You guys into The Boys?
I like the earlier seasons better, but I'll finish it. I kind of think it's about the time that I would like them to start kind of wrapping things up. But yeah, I've enjoyed it throughout.
Jesse?
I'm done.
Yeah. I figured you would be.
When the regular guys started getting powers in the last season, I was like, I didn't care for that idea. So I'm over it.
See, for me, I think it was like when they started going inside penises. I think that was like, I mean, the show, it's got funny parts, it's got cool parts. It's an interesting, concept with, you got these folks with powers that, are they good? Are they not good? And you've got regular people that, are kind of living in this world with people with powers. And I like the concept of it, but it feels like as each season progresses, they try to throw in more and more shock value to get people to talk about it. And it's like, I don't need all that. Like, I don't need the superhero orgy. I don't need the exploding penis. I don't need
the views of Curtis Ackerman do not necessarily represent the views of Offworld, Matthew Duke, or anybody else.
Listen,
I know. I get what
you guys said your thing. I'm just saying my thing. I feel like they have a good enough concept and storyline and characters and chemistry amongst the actors that they could have a good series without adding all that other bullshit. But that being said, I know that's what some people like about it. So
it is kind of interesting, Jesse, that the powers are what did it for you. But like from what I understand, and I haven't read them, but like in the comic, the boys, like that was like from the get-go, that was the whole thing. Was the group of boys getting high on the V or whatever it was called.
I've never read the comics. I only watched the show because it was going to take less active participation on my part to watch the show than read the comics.
Right.
Just the concept of it just didn't impress me. And like, I'm surprised they watched beyond the first couple episodes. Like when they made Starlight do what she did. Granted, they didn't really show it, but like, I was like, I hate this. Like
I'm surprised you watch it too, to be honest with you. Just knowing you, like,
yeah, it was a thing to like keep up with because I was working in the shop and people were talking about it, and especially now that I'm not in the shop anymore, I'm like, yeah, it's like I knew some of that stuff was coming, not what Curtis specifically mentioned, but I knew some of the shocking stuff was in the comics, and that was the whole point of it. But it's just, and that's just me. I'm not saying it's bad or people shouldn't watch it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, I just think it's interesting that Jesse says like that he watched the show and didn't really read the comics because it was just kind of too much work. Let's keep that in mind when we get to the X-Men conversation here in a little bit. So just saying, just throwing that out there.
I read other comics.
I'm just saying sometimes people may like the
let me clarify,
and they didn't read the comic books because the comic books was a lot of work, but the X-Men
let me clarify
their thing. And
knowing what was in the comics, I didn't want to put the effort into picking them up, buying them, reading them because I knew what the content was. It was bad enough to watch it on TV.
Gotcha. Okay. Too much of a hassle to read. I get it. I'm with you 100%. All right.
Hey, send me my book back. Unsend that PDF to me.
Let's see. Now we will do this week in theaters. Unless you guys got anything else coming up that you want to discuss.
No. Let's go to the theaters.
I
Jump in that time machine.
I do need to watch the last episode of Halo, which has been amazing.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's
Halo, more like YOLO.
All right, random number generator is up, and we have 1994.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, March 1994. 1994. Okay, go ahead.
Weekly.
He's got it. What's going to be on there, Jesse?
I'm just trying to get in the mindset, like what year, school, like time zone setting.
Just in case he runs into his younger self.
Right, because when we go back in time, we got to make sure not to be in the same theater as our younger self. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you not want me to get excited about the segment and try to put my mind in 1994, Jesse? Okay.
You can. We're fully on board with that. So
I completely believe in you.
I got to tell you, just seeing that number one at the box office is Naked Gun 33 1/3 tells me everything I know about this week.
And it looks like it was its premiere week. So
yeah. So there you go. Number one, we got Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult, Frank Drebin and his
Drebin.
That's what I said. What'd you say?
Drebin. You left
out. I said Drebin.
You said Debin.
No, I didn't. All right. Frank Drebin comes out of retirement to help police squad infiltrate a gang of terrorists planning to detonate a bomb at the Academy Awards. So then you've got Schindler's List.
You don't need to read this.
I know where Jesse's going.
No, you
don't.
In German-occupied Poland during World War II, industrialist Oskar Schindler gradually becomes concerned for his Jewish workforce after witnessing persecution by the Nazis. Then we've got Guarding Tess. Former U.S. First Lady wants a particular Secret Service agent to head her bodyguard detail, even though he can't stand her. It looks like Nicholas.
That was Nicolas Cage, right? Yeah.
We've got Monkey Trouble at number 4.
Oh my god.
A young girl's life turns hairy when her new pet monkey turns out to be a trained pickpocket on the run from a scheming gypsy.
I had
That
no
is
idea
number
what
4 at the box office.
I had no idea what it was until I saw that poster and it all came flooding back. Oh my god.
Number 5, Lightning Jack. Lightning Jack Kane is an Australian outlaw in the Wild West. During a bungled bank robbery, he picks up a mute Ben Doyle as a hostage. The two become good friends, with Jack teaching Ben how to rob banks while they plan Jack's last heist. So that is
Paul
Crocodile
Hogan.
Dundee trying to do something different.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beverly D'Angelo.
All right. We have got number 6 of the box office, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Goofy detective specializes in animals, goes in search of the missing mascot of the Miami Dolphins, which is, spoiler alert, a dolphin. That is Jim Carrey.
Damn you.
Yep.
He's doing this on purpose.
Next, we have The Ref. A cat burglar is forced to take bickering, dysfunctional family hostage on Christmas Eve.
That is Kevin Spacey and Dennis Leary.
Mm-hmm.
That is quite the poster.
That
Yes.
is.
I mean, that's like what's his name, The Graduate, but like with a dude with everybody under his leg.
Hell yeah.
Next, we have Mrs. Doubtfire. After a bitter divorce, an actor disguises himself as a female housekeeper to spend time with his children, held in custody by his former wife.
The late, great Robin Williams.
Next, we have Greedy. And I'm going to probably need some assistance on this with who's in this because I cannot see any of it. Rich old Uncle Joe is surrounded by relatives waiting, hoping for him to die while trying to look good and backstabbing the competition. What should he do?
And that is Kirk.
Who to what?
Kirk Douglas, Michael J. Fox, Jonathan Lynn, and Phil Hartman.
Okay.
How have I not seen that?
And before we go to number 10, we have
Two
Big
Greg.
Greg joining us.
Oh, what's up?
Ah.
The 2.0 gang is
Greg?
here. What's
Not
going on?
2.0. You're on the varsity team tonight.
Yeah, you're
sir.
right. Yeah, you got
Oh,
You're in
man.
the big time, baby.
Yeah, you're in the show.
Moving on up.
All right, let's see. Last but not least, we have got 8 seconds. This movie chronicles the life of Lane Frost, 1987 PRCA bull riding world champion, his marriage and his friendships with Tuff Hedeman, 3-time world champion, and Cody Lambert. So there you go.
And that is Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin.
That is your top 10, folks.
That is, it's better than some we've had lately.
I don't know about that.
What year is this?
This is 1994.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's a little bit of a rough one.
Really?
I think this is the worst week we've had, in my opinion.
Oh God!
I 1,000,000% agree.
That's
What
rough.
is wrong with you guys? You got Mrs. Doubtfire and Ace Ventura on there alone. Like,
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Both movies that have aged really well.
yes, I have watched both of them within the last year, and they are still just as enjoyable.
Yeah. Well,
We just want to let everybody know that the views of the Dooch do not necessarily represent those of Offworld or
Yes.
the rest of the hosts.
yes. They may not be the most trans sensitive movies. All right.
I wasn't even going there.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go with The Ref. Because it's the only one on this list that I would actually enjoy seeing. So I have seen it before. It's a pretty funny movie. I love Dennis Leary. His sarcasm is top notch. One of the most the best sarcastic people ever to live. So I will see that one because the rest, quite frankly, are kind of garbage. So
Not
there
even
you
a
go.
Leslie Nielsen fan, like
The first movie, maybe even the second, but come on, Naked Gun 33 and a third, no. So
something
all right.
wrong with all you guys.
Yeah.
This one's actually kind of tough for me. I do want
If
to
you
throw
don't
out
have
that.
Enrico Palazzo in it, forget it. I'm out. You know.
I do. I mean, I do want to say I got to put Greedy on my list because that's a Michael J. Fox movie I haven't seen, and I didn't think that there was one out there. But I don't think I'm going back in time for it. So I've got to go Ace Ventura. Although it's close with Mrs. Doubtfire there.
Okay.
It was just a different time. You can't hold a 1994 comedy to today's standards, and
No,
it was more about her not telling anybody who she was than anything else. So.
I get what you're saying. On top of that, though, it's us now going back in time to watch this. Like,
correct.
In 1994, I thought Jim Carrey was fucking hilarious. Now I'm like, I don't need to see him talking with his ass. Like it doesn't.
I mean,
it doesn't
no.
do the same thing.
It does for me.
It doesn't hit the
but
same.
I'm younger than you, so
So, all right.
But yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy some Ace Ventura. I'm gonna laugh my ass off, and maybe I'll sneak into Mrs. Doubtfire afterwards.
Okay. Have you seen The Ref?
I've never seen The Ref. No.
I think you would enjoy it. He's an asshole. He's an asshole like you.
I already love him though.
Yeah. All right, Jesse.
I want to beg my mom to take me to a museum or, watch paint dry than go see any of these movies. I will say this, Ref is the only one that sounds intriguing. It seems weird that it's a Christmas movie in March, but whatever. Right. It did say it was like over the holidays, right?
I believe so.
But is it a Christmas movie?
Eve. Yes. On Christmas
I didn't say it was a
Eve.
Christmas movie, but like the setting is Christmas. I do like Dennis Leary. I think, that has me intrigued. I think I'd rather maybe rent it or something. But the ones on this list I have seen, I absolutely do not want to see again. Yeah.
Well, and you said you like seeing movies with other people, so I would go with you, and we could riff on it together.
Well, I meant back then, but yeah, if we're going now, I'll go watch The Ref with Curtis. But I mean, I saw Schindler's List in high school, and it's very well made, but it's supposed to be a hard movie to watch, but it's not an enjoyable movie. Ace Ventura, I begged my mom to go see that instead of My Girl 2 whatever weekend that was playing that those movies were out at the same time.
Good
and
choice.
I regret making my mom go to see Ace Ventura. Yeah, I mean, My Girl 2 was no grand slam of a movie itself, but yeah. Going to The Ref with Curtis.
Yeah, I've never seen Schindler's List, and I don't have any intention to. It's like same thing with like the Oppenheimer. Like people can talk about these things as being these great movies and stuff. To me, that's artsy fartsy. Forget it. I'm out.
I watched it once. That was plenty.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, what are you seeing? You have to see something.
I usually don't agree with Dooch about anything, but I'm smoking a fat doobie and I'm going to see Ace Ventura.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a fucking blast. And then we're going to sneak in and see Miss Doubtfire after I take another hit.
Yep. Greg knows what's up.
Well, I will say I don't. We'll take a look at the weeks, but Miss Doubtfire has quite a bit of money there compared to everything else. So that is 18 weeks.
It was huge
for Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura's on 7. Let me just pull this. Do this way. Schindler's List was at 15 weeks. So yeah.
A lot of love for 8 seconds in the chat here. So
really, I've never seen it, but doesn't sound interesting to me. But hey,
it's, based on a true story, and Brad says it will make you weep. Cheesy, great date night flick. So.
Wow.
Trevor, normally I don't defend Curtis against you, but I'm going to do it tonight. While Schindler's List is based on history, it is a quote unquote artsy fartsy movie. It's black and white except for that one shot of the red coat. I mean, it's a powerful, amazing movie, but it is artsy fartsy. Like in Curtis terms, that is completely accurate.
Got to celebrate your wins when you can get them. And Fugitive was at 33 weeks, 19.
That
overall.
I would go see.
Yeah, I would have definitely seen that. I love The Fugitive. So Jurassic Park, 41 weeks out there. So,
God, they just don't let movies play out like they used to.
Yeah.
No.
I actually saw Sugar Hill in the movies when they came out.
So I got to ask, Dooch, you said that this brought back memory. Did you see this movie?
Oh yeah. Not like in theaters or anything, but it was a rental. Yeah.
So I just got to know, like, did you know the concept of the movie, or did you just hear Monkey Trouble and you're like, I'll give it a whirl? Like,
I don't even think
about this tells me.
Remember, Curtis. So 94, I was 9. I can't even say that I picked out the movie that night. I mean, that's when it was still like, mom or dad would grab some movies and Monkey Trouble, like, and bring it home and the family would sit around and watch it. Like, I'm not saying I picked it out or I was like, we got it. I didn't make my mom choose Monkey Trouble over My Girl 2. It just, at some point I've seen it. And yeah, it's like, so there's a thief who's got that little monkey and he trains him to be a pickpocket. But then the girl, I can't remember how, but the girl winds up getting the monkey, and he starts stealing for her, and then she's got to teach him right from wrong, and the thief's trying to steal him back, and I mean,
who hasn't seen that played out in real life? So
yeah.
Trevor says black and white ain't artsy fartsy. Black and white is the number one indicator of artsy fartsy. I mean, just so you know, if you put something in black and white, odds are you're trying to make it artsy fartsy. Yes, Steph is right. Black and white makes it artsy fartsy for sure.
I mean, it's no blue and gray, but
yeah.
Oh,
gotta love it. Okay. And we got somebody out there saying Monkey Trouble. So there you go.
Hey, Joanna.
Monkey Trouble. Yeah. He said, Dusty says, didn't it have the guy from Seinfeld in it wearing a wig?
It might have been Jason
Trouble?
Alexander. Let me I didn't actually pull that up when we were going through it. So let me take a look at the list.
While Dooch is looking that up, Trevor says, I understand you have to pay attention, enjoy dialogue and character building, so not for Curtis.
I like movies that make me happy. I like movies that
definitely don't watch Schindler's List then.
Yeah, I definitely don't watch that.
I use movies as an escape from reality, as a way to just throw myself into a different world that, so sci-fi, action, comedy, those are my things. If I want black and white and historical, I'll go back to school. That's not what I'm looking for in a movie. For those that like it, hey, more power to you. That's cool. It's just not.
I actually watched it with my mom, being I'm Polish.
Yep.
It was I had to watch it with mom. We didn't have an option. She said, "You gonna watch this?"
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any Seinfeld cast members. Thora Birch played the girl, and then Harvey Keitel played the thief. So
I think I somehow remember a Jason Alexander movie that there was a monkey in it with some shenanigans. I can't remember what it was.
There's definitely something in like where he's in the same kind of vein, because
is that like Baby's Day Out or something like that?
That was a movie.
He is in Dunstan Checks In. Which
that's what
I said.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gotcha. It sounded different coming from your mouth. Yeah, it sounded different coming from your mouth.
Thor Birch is also in the first live action Dungeons and Dragon movie, which is hot garbage.
Okay. All right.
God, Jesse is in a hating mood tonight.
Hey, he's
He's in-
agreeing
he's
with
in
me,
rare
so
form.
I'm all for it, man. Whatever. I'm
What?
ready to
Have
to
you
take
watched the first live action Dungeons and Dragons movie?
With the Wayans brother, right? That the one you're talking
Yeah,
about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
yeah.
it.
It's horrible.
I enjoyed it, but I like things, so you know.
I
I mean,
do
it wasn't
too.
black and white, so
You got to excuse Jesse. He's been hanging out with Curtis. You know, he was
apparently
Mesquite,
that
you know,
weekend at
it's starting
Mesquite
to.
has changed.
Jesse
I've
was such a
not liked that
sweetheart like
movie
2
since
years
I saw
ago,
it in
and
theaters
now you
24
get
years ago.
this Jesse.
Hey, you guys need to back off of Jesse. I'm ready to take him back to Michigan.
See, I'm with you, Dusty. I wanted to like Aragon, but I would say it's a little bit better than just the overall quality is a little bit better, but that one's hard.
All right. Oh boy,
All right,
here
well,
we
I
go.
guess it's time for it.
Yeah, it is
Oh.
time for X-Men '97. So this week,
I got to start off with a question.
okay.
Why is Rogue's jacket green?
I don't know.
Why does Rogue sound like a freaking old lady Smurf chain smoker? I don't know what that voice is doing in that.
At least they got the figure
She
right.
is.
She looks all right in the show, but yeah, that voice is like, what the fuck are we doing?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Curtis.
So X-Men '97 came out this week.
Did it?
They dropped 2 episodes. And I'm assuming that everybody on here saw the 2 episodes. Is that correct?
Correct.
So
Twice.
we will go
So
around.
Jesse has seen 4 episodes, and the rest of us have seen 2.
Gotcha. So we will talk about what did you think about X-Men '97 as a standalone animated series so far through 2 episodes, and also what did you think about it in comparison to the original X-Men animated series back in the '90s. So we will start with Dooch and work our way around.
Point of order?
You want?
Yeah, go ahead.
Spoiler warning, if you have not watched the episodes, we're not holding back. So
Yep.
Truth.
nothing life-changing is going to be talked about here, but we're giving spoilers.
Okay. Dooch, hit it.
You want me to hit both points or just one of
You
the
can
points?
talk about whatever you want. I would just like to know your thoughts of it.
Anything
as
that
a
I want.
whole,
Okay.
and then what do you think about it as a continuation? Did they pick up right where it left off, or did you feel like it was different?
That's one thing I will say. So the actual X-Men '90s cartoon was like my introduction to X-Men. I didn't follow the comics, so it's like that was my X-Men, and it was a good show in my opinion. You know, it wasn't my must-see cartoon of the week or anything, but I watched as much as I could, and I enjoyed what I did, and it got me into that world. Coming into this series, I was worried that, you know, it would, number one, them trying to mimic the animation style when so much has advanced in the years in between, definitely gave me some worry. I was worried about the original voice cast coming back just because, again, it's been 30 years. So, you know, that's not a knock on anybody or anything involved in it. Just, it was a legitimate fear. And then, of course, it is hard to, you know, continue right where you left off after 30 years. So I definitely wasn't excited for it. But I, you know, it came out. I watched it. Good night, buddy.
Aw.
So, but yeah, I just, it was okay. I definitely feel that the animation is Like, I think they're doing themselves a disservice trying to mimic that 90s art style. I really wish that even if they were going to do a continuation, that they had just kind of done their own thing with it. Because it feels really weird. It's like they blended the original with the what if style of animation, and I don't really care for the what if style anyways. So and then yeah, the voices are the majority of them are good. Rogue and Wolverine are garbage. Like, I don't know what those voices are. I don't know how anybody was like, with this being a continuation, you want to get as close as possible. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean bring back the original voice actor. It means find somebody who can do the closest voice possible. And they sound nothing like their originals. And I haven't even looked through the cast list because I know some of the cast has passed on. I know they didn't get everybody
Those
back.
two are the originals.
Are they? Okay, so I couldn't even say that they were the original. Just they don't sound like them, so that takes you out right away. I know at the end of the original that Professor X had gone with the Shi'ar to try and be healed, and now in this they're declaring him dead. So I don't know if that's like they're just doing that for the public thing or they've retconned it.
I mean, it's Marvel though too, so nobody's ever truly dead.
Dead, yeah.
But,
right, I know. I'm just saying, like, so. But you're saying this is a direct continuation, like this is the next season of the show. And yet, right off the bat, we shouldn't be wondering if they did this or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's
it does. I think from the storyline, it feels like there's a little bit of gap in time, but not. Yeah, it's not like the next day.
Right.
There's some time in between, but it is pretty much the next season, like you said.
Right.
So what would you give it like out of 10? Just through 2 episodes.
The 2 episodes combined, maybe a 5. Okay. I thought the first episode was completely unnecessary. It was way too reminiscent of the original, I think, Night of the Sentinels, where Jubilee's powers were awakened, and it was literally that same story. For you saying this is a continuation, if they had done this season in 97, they wouldn't have done that episode. Gotcha. The second episode was better. I would have liked the Magneto trial stuff to have been more of like a season-long arc because they like to do that kind of stuff. I felt that was real quick I liked that they were kind of bringing him to justice and everything, but then to get it done right away is like, whereas you look back at the original X-Men and Beast was in jail for like the whole first season. Because that, they planned out arcs like that. So, I don't know. I'll watch more, but I wasn't overly impressed with it as a whole.
Okay. Jesse.
You sure you want to go to me next?
Yep. That's the way we're around. You're up.
Okay. I really enjoyed it.
What the fuck is going on? Am I like in the Twilight Zone?
Clearly, you guys know me. I have no attachment to the old show. So the voices not lining up doesn't bother me at all. I actually like Rogue's voice in this more than what I remember from the 90s show.
Really?
I will say Wolverine sounds weird. I think Wolverine is slightly above Morph as the worst part of this show. Just because I've never felt attached to Morph. At least it's like that weird Age of Apocalypse version of him. Now, bear with me, Trevor. Come on. I don't think it's great. Like, I don't think it's like it is not the X-Men I've been waiting for. This is not what I want to see. But as far as standalone 2 episodes, what it is, I'm enjoying it. I think the action has been fun. It actually made me like. Some people make jokes about like when you're a kid, Wolverine's cool because he does whatever he wants, blah blah blah, and Cyclops is the loser Boy Scout guy. And as you grow up, you realize, oh, Cyclops is. I don't feel like that way about it, but like they kind of made Cyclops not necessarily cool because he's still a real stick in the mud with his behavior, but
He's
in
more
the
cool.
action scenes,
Mm.
the way he like blasts the floor to like get him and Roberto back from the Friends of Humanity, I thought was really cool. Like I was like,
Or
all right,
like
we're
the way
seeing
that
him
he
do stuff with
lands
his powers.
when they're like
When he
falling.
because it's not laser. They're embracing the concussive like plasma blast of it, which I think is really cool. And I like that. I love seeing like that weird like 80s Magneto
things that you've been
Magneto
replaced.
costume.
You mean Granny Goodness Magneto? That's
I don't know. I don't care about Granny Goodness. No, Trevor, I'm not saying it's great. Like, yes, him going to help deliver the fact that Wolverine didn't realize Jean was about to have a baby. I mean, he's freaking Wolverine.
Yeah.
And that brings me to other things with the end of the episode, like how he didn't know something was off about her, but we'll get to that part.
Yeah, she says, he's here. Who, Apocalypse?
It was funny, but that would have been a better Morph moment. Like Morph sitting there with Jean would have been better. That would have played for it. But like Wolverine,
I mean, that's just cartoony.
He would have known.
Like that's you got to throw in.
He would have
some
known
stuff
she
like
was
that.
having a baby before she did. Like he would have been like, "Oh, that's about to come out. Let's go." Or, you know.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a cartoon. It can't be 100% serious,
right?
So,
no, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like I enjoyed it. It was funny. I think the action scenes were great. Like the way. Yeah, I'm gonna do some Rogue praise them with the way they show her taking out the Sentinels, but then it cuts from her to like Beast climbing inside and use it. Like I like the way they showed them working as a team. Gambit charging up Wolverine is still freaking
weird,
dumb as shit. But like it's not perfect. Oh, Trevor, that's harsh.
Well, he originally was. That's
I agree with you. Get rid of Morph, bring Thunderbird back.
Thunderbird.
But which they actually did in the comics recently. But no, it was fun. I liked even like the one thing I don't like is when they go to the nightclub to find Sunspot.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Rogue are the only ones in like civilian clothes. Jubilee's in her. I mean, she never changes her clothes.
Right.
And then like. Gambit and Morph are in their uniforms. It's like, what are you guys supposed to be undercover? Like, and does Rogue only have one dress? Because that's the exact same stuff she was wearing in the 90s. I mean, it is the 90s show, but like, you know, minimal complaints. Overall, I enjoyed it. I like the animation style. I don't like they're trying to mimic the older like frame rate and like the choppiness.
Right.
I don't like that. The overall style design of the characters I like. I do like the What If style. I wish they would have leaned more into that look. But overall, I love the look of the character designs. The expressions I like. Yeah.
But now, just curious, have you ever actually watched the 90s series? Did you do?
I started watching when it was coming out. And I mean, I watched it because it was X-Men. Like it was something X-Men to watch, but I didn't like it.
Right.
I tried watching it last year or earlier this year, and I made it through like 2 episodes. And I'm like, I can't take this anymore.
So
like
you're basically just entering this 97 as like a fresh.
I'm accepting this as its own thing, kind of like, even though you know, Revelation was supposed to be kind of like a spiritual, you know. Follow up to, even though it was
to that, but it's set in its own universe, which is not what they're doing with this. This is saying this is the next season of the show.
But I'm going into it just as it is. Like the things I didn't like about the old show, you know, and I might get a couple more episodes into this and be like, oh, okay, this is complete garbage. But so far, I find it entertaining.
So out of 10, what do you give it so
8.
far? 2 episodes, 8.
Yeah.
All right. Greg, we're on you.
I loved it. I enjoyed it. I did watch the original ones when I was growing up, so I watched all of them, you know, and I haven't watched them in years. I did try to watch it a couple of years ago, and it was a little rough trying to get through it. But I do like what they did. Some of the voices are a little wonky, but I got past that. You know, because it is what it is. It did bring, you know, the 2 characters back. They're a little older, so you kind of hear it in the voice that's it's a little change, but overall the first episode dragged a little bit, but it was cool. It was like they did touch little throwbacks that made me tingle, like, oh, like I felt like 97 again, when they finished, I was a freshman in high school in 90, like around that time. And
Damn, you guys are old.
shut up. And
I had already
but yeah,
graduated.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun the way they did the animation style, where they still kind of kept it original, but they just kind of transitioned. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool because they were still touching back to the OG stuff. You know what I mean? If they're going a brand new route, then I would say, don't do the OG style. But since they're still continuing off of it, I get what they're doing, and I don't mind it. And what else was I going to say? I get what they're doing with Xavier. Like, nobody knows, so people think that he's just dead. And hopefully, if this does well, they bring that arc in with him.
I'm hoping.
You know what I mean? So all depends how well it does. Well, I think it's doing very well. So we're probably going to get that, because anything X-Men, I'm down for.
Cool. So,
but yeah,
out of 10,
I give it an 8.5.
Nice.
Gotta outdo Jesse.
So I did love the original series. At least the early seasons, like as it got on, they started doing some stuff where they like went into space and stuff like that. And that's not what I wanted to see from X-Men, like where they're, dealing with, like when they went into the whole Phoenix saga and they do with all this, other alien life forms and all this kind of stuff. Like that's not X-Men to me. To me, X-Men, now keep in mind as I say this, I did not read the comics. This is my X-Men. This is the animated series is my X-Men. And to me, it was always about like Charles Xavier was like Martin Luther King Jr. and like Magneto was like Malcolm X. It's like you understand the perspective from both of them on how they're dealing with being oppressed, right? Like the mutants are being oppressed, but they have different points of view on how you deal with that. One is trying to bring everybody together. The other one is lashing out because, they're being put down and oppressed and whatever. And it's one of these things where I like to sometimes feel like Magneto is, softening and going to that side where he is going to, be a good guy, be the guy that's, understanding what Professor X is trying to do. And he's going to try to, bring folks together, but then he always does something to turn. And that's what I'm expecting is going to happen in this series, is that, he's going to do something that you're going to be like, okay, that's too far. You can't do that, whatever. Or you're going to find out that he's behind something that, that has already happened. Like, Storm losing her powers. Is he somehow behind that or whatever? So that's, for me, I felt like this picked up where those early seasons were. It's very much the, humans oppressing mutants and human mutant relations is what this show is all about. So I liked where it picked up. Starts off with the theme song, which is just a banger from back then. It's a banger now, like best theme music ever. As far as the voices, the Wolverine one really didn't bother me. I listened to it because I heard people saying about the Wolverine voice, but it really sounds like the old cartoon to me. I didn't really pick up on much difference. The Rogue one is weird because sometimes it sounds very much like that original Rogue, very that Southern, all the shugs and all this kind of stuff. And then sometimes it like changes. And I don't know if they were like, if they did some sort of auto tune or they did something to adjust her voice, because she's like 64 now. And I don't know if they did something to try to adjust her voice to make it sound younger, but sometimes she sounds like a 12-year-old kid. Like it's weird. So sometimes it sounds like, I don't know. Sometimes it sounds like this, and then sometimes it sounds like that. So that one kind of threw me out of it a couple times. but otherwise, the overall story, the animation style, I mean, the Gambit half shirt in the kitchen, making breakfast, like I'm all for that. So I enjoyed it. I'm interested to see where it goes. I just have a feeling that, the whole Magneto thing is going to turn at some point, and you're going to be like, damn it, I had hopes for you again, and you let me down again, But yeah, I would say probably 7 right now. I'm reserving. I don't want to give it too high of a score because I want to see what the rest of this series brings. But I am enjoying what I've seen so far. I feel like it's a good kind of popcorn series. Like, I had a fun time watching it. It wasn't anything mind blowing that I was like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing or whatever. But I thought it was good. I was entertained, and I want to see more. So
I gotta say, I love Magneto's little threat at the end.
Mm.
He was like, don't make me.
Right.
Like that part, I was like, yeah, that's the Magneto that I like. I like that. That was
what do you say? Like, don't make me prove you right, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like, it's up to you whether I go.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna go bad, it's because of you.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm gonna say this, and this isn't on my anti-Gambit thing, because when I started reading the comics, again, I know that's separate from the show, but like there was this not weird, but there was this dynamic between Rogue and Magneto that I was intrigued by.
Mm.
I was going to ask you if this was comic based.
So, well, it makes me wonder if they're going to take this into Age of Apocalypse territory.
Okay.
Because in the Age of Apocalypse storyline, Professor X is dead, different reason or different, thing. But Rogue and Magneto get together, and they take over leadership of the X-Men in the future, and Cyclops goes off on, he kind of joins.
He joins Apocalypse.
Does he join Apocalypse? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it clearly looks like they're going to head into Inferno and Goblin Queen territory, but
which I think they will, because Goblin Queen came out, and the figures are kind of giving us little sneak peeks of where this might go.
Well, I mean, if that's because of the figures, I was not shocked by the ending of episode 2.
Okay. Yeah, because the Goblin Queen even comes with baby Summers. So
I do have a question on Morph, because I only knew Morph from the series, and he was he was killed off in the first episode, really, of the original series, and then brought back later, where it was Mr. Sinister was controlling him and stuff. But is his powers within the comic books and stuff, if he morphs into somebody, does he get their powers too? Because that's what it really was looking like as he's fighting and stuff. And I'm like, that would be pretty OP if you could just all of a sudden look like Wolverine and have his healing powers, or have whatever. Is that a thing, or I don't know? Somebody with more knowledge than me.
I don't have more knowledge than you, but he's not supposed to have their powers.
So,
I
did enjoy
it's almost like they're merging the Morph that because they didn't make him for the show, and then he was such a fan favorite they made him in the comics.
That's
kind of the way he is with that white head like that, and then he was essentially just like Mystique. He could shapeshift, and he had limited telepathic abilities. But it seems like they're kind of merging him with Mimic, who could for a short period of time take on the powers of the other another character. Which it seems like they're doing that with his powers, because when I saw Archangel fly, and I'm like, where the hell did he come from? I had to rewind it.
I was like, Archangel's here.
I was like, it's Morph. And then he does Psylocke and Colossus and Lady Deathstrike.
Yep.
Well, because I always thought he was very much a lame character in the original series. So then when he's doing that fighting and he's turning into all these people, I'm like, well, that's pretty badass power. If all of a sudden he gets, if he gets the strength of Colossus and he can fly like Archangel, and all of a sudden that's actually kind of cool. But
with Mimic, he had to be in proximity, right? It wasn't just.
Yeah. Yeah,
It wasn't just, hey, I met Colossus once, so now I can be Colossus.
Right.
He was like, hey, Colossus is over there, so I can mimic him. Yeah.
I think it's their way of getting those characters in the show without having those characters in the show.
Trevor, who's been very much hating this whole thing, says Rogue grabbing the doctor's medical knowledge without taking his memories, etc., was dumb. I did think that whole part was weird.
It was just, I mean, they got the one hospital that only has one doctor that won't treat mutants. Like, did we?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that her time being pregnant is the same as a normal person. Like, I don't know if somehow it's sped up or anything, but you should have had several months to line up what hospital and what doctor you're going to see, like, to where it's not just all of a sudden a surprise that you get the one doctor that's like, I'm not touching mutants. And now you've got to stop in the middle of a fight when, you know, this guy is trying to kill people to go and do that. It was very weird.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I liked that Rogue had to do that, and I didn't mind that because to get his medical knowledge, she did have to take his memories. Like, if she does a brief thing, it doesn't drain them completely. It's, you know, the longer exposed, the worse damage it is. And I like she kind of takes on his personality for, you know, she kind of gets grumpy and starts yelling at people.
Yeah.
The situation of, because I think in the show, like, they're like, Rogue, go out front and help protect whatever. And she goes out to do that. And like, as soon as she's out there doing it, like, Rogue, you need to go to the hospital and help deliver Jean's baby. And it's like, what?
Like, and the fact that they're in a mansion that has like a full hospital. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah. I figured
they have a full medical ward, but you know,
but they're all just hanging out watching Magneto go on trial. And, you know, like, the show definitely has some logic problems. Like, I'm not arguing that, but I'm having fun with it for the most part.
Well, there's no doctor there that they can steal the powers to, you know, to get the knowledge. So they had to go to the hospital to that happened. Everybody, you know, at this point, the mansion's empty, kind of, you know. So that medical ward has probably got cobwebs and shit in it.
I mean, but they also have like the technology to have like the danger room where they're like fighting all these. You would think that you could have like a robot doctor or something, some sort of something that could have whatever.
It was,
well, this is 97, so it tracks.
I mean, I'm not going to try to nitpick this to death. I enjoyed watching it. It was just fun. But yeah, there's some parts that if you analyze it, you go, oh yeah, this didn't make sense. And that was kind of silly. But
think about it. If you go back to that cartoon, there's a lot of silly shit like that in the cartoon that doesn't really add up. So if they're going by that, then they did a great job.
I do have to say, Wolverine constantly like flexing his claws out, like, you know, oh, we're gonna send him back in pieces. Like, he's just like constantly like oh, can
that's how he was back then, though, in the comic.
I know, and that's one of the things I didn't like about that show. Like, he's my least favorite part about the show. Like, I actually kind of like Morph a little better, just because of letting him do the different things he's doing. Like, when he comes in as Professor X in the first scene, I'm like, oh, what an asshole! Like.
Well, and they really haven't had Wolverine do anything yet. Like, because he was always the one that would like go off on his own and take care of this or that. Like, those were his best stories in the original, was him doing his own thing. And so, like, so far he's just kind of been the, you know, the team member.
So
right.
And Jesse, we got a message for you.
Trevor had said something earlier. He said Wolverine and the X-Men is greater than X-Men in the animated series, and then he just says watch Wolverine and the X-Men and tell me it's not better. And I will tell you, I did not know about Wolverine and the X-Men until I think it was when we were doing our show with Cornboy that he brought it up. And I went and watched it, and it's a good series.
It is.
I actually think it is a better series for adults for sure than X-Men the animated series. Doesn't mean that I can't like both, but yes, it is a better series in my opinion.
I do wish it had gone on longer because I think it was just one season, maybe
Yeah, and it's not a
two.
ton of episodes either.
Yeah, like if they got into more story arcs, I liked where it was going.
Yeah,
I think it definitely could have unseated animated series if it had
well,
gone on longer.
and I'm a big Gambit fan, and Gambit in that series is more of the like
He's the
shisty
rogue.
con man kind of like not just hanging around with Rogue all the time, throwing out his shares and all that.
But I tell you what, I liked Evolution more than animated series, to be honest with you. And that's a whole different, that's when they're in high school and everything. But it was more them like growing up and getting the powers and everything.
Joe says X-Men Evolution was his favorite. So
yeah,
I mean,
they took a lot of liberties, but it was a good show.
Listen, I'm not here to say that the original X-Men, the animated series, or this new one is the best version of X-Men ever.
Right.
But I enjoyed it for what it is. I'm happy with it, and I can't wait to see what else we get. Go from there. So
I'll say this last thing about it, that I'm enjoying it because as much as I didn't like the original series for being so different from the comics I was reading, this new show or this new continuation or whatever feels more like the X-Men I want to remember than what the current X-Men comics have been like the last 5 years or whatever. Okay. So I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where sometimes with this stuff, you got to kind of take it as its own separate thing and just, either you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it. But if you start comparing it to something else, that's where I mean, that's the problem. I mean, dude, you and I have talked about this numerous times with the Motu fans. When you start getting like the Kevin Smith series or even the CGI series, like if you start nitpicking on everything that's different from what you knew as a kid, you're gonna have a terrible fucking time. But if you just appreciate it for its own thing and watch it, it's kind of fun. So like
I said, I think the only reason this one's bumping me so bad is because they're doing it as the next season. And I had the same problem with Young Justice. They went through the similar thing where they had the Cartoon Network seasons, then they were off for like 5 years, and then they came back with the HBO seasons, and it's like it just doesn't feel like this is a continuation. Like this isn't what the next season would have been back then. And I think that's what's bumping me right now. I mean, they went back to, Wolverine and the Jean and Cyclops like love triangle thing where that had pretty much like from season 2 on, it like Wolverine had made peace with her choosing Scott. So but then they're going back to that stuff because of guys like Jesse who didn't really watch the original series, didn't care for it, but now he's getting into it. So it's like, I get why.
I'm sick. I'm sick of the love triangle between them. Like
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Okay, I'm just saying like there are people out there that they've got to like loop back in with this stuff, and I think that's what's kind of bumping me right now. It's like. But if it had been made back in the day, they wouldn't have spent the time dwelling on stuff that had just happened a year prior.
Sure. No, I can get the frustration with that. And so, to Trevor's point, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was just going to read his comment here. He says, I'm happy for people to enjoy it. I just hope Marvel Studios doesn't take a lot of cues from it for a live action X-Men. And I was just going to say, like, I don't want them to do that either. Like this. Right. This to me is very much a cartoon story. It's like the CGI He-Man series. Like it's fun in and of itself, but that's not what I want in a live action. But go ahead, Jesse. You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say in regards to that, like I'm hoping this is like I didn't want this show. Like I didn't when I first heard it was coming out, I'm like, I don't want it. Then I saw the character sheets, how they looked. I'm like, all right, the artwork looks pretty good. And that was one of my biggest things too. Like I was such a Jim Lee, Whilce Portacio like junkie when that stuff was coming out because it was right before they went and started Image. So seeing the way they drew them in the show, I was like, this is like watching, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be just going backwards art style. And I know it was a cartoon. So but what I hope this is them getting this 90s X-Men cartoon stuff out of the system. Like, get it out. If they like it, maybe they'll do another season or whatever, a couple seasons. Get that out. Let that be its thing. And then they can do something completely different with the movies that's, its own fresh take on it that doesn't feel like the Fox movies, doesn't feel like the animated series, that it gets to do its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think with those, I hope that it's less serious than the original Fox one. Like they just, I don't know. I think they went into it and it's on the heels of like the Burton Batman and stuff like that, to where it just felt like in order to make a good comic book movie, you had to put everybody in black leather and make it, I don't know. I think you can have some fun with it, but I don't think it needs to be quite as cheesy as what the cartoon is. But yeah, I mean, like if you watch those like the first phase or two of the MCU, there was a lot of just jokes and fun and one-liners and stuff in it, but it still was also cool. And then, as we've gone along, we've gotten to see like some reimagined versions of their costumes, that make it look not cheesy, but also not, black leather all the way through and through. Like,
well, just the fact that we're getting a version of the blue and yellow Wolverine costume in Deadpool 3, like, I'm like, all right, they know what to do now.
But it took us
and I
20
think,
years or whatever. Yeah.
Right. But now Marvel is back in control of it.
Yeah.
Not saying that they won't make mistakes, because they've clearly not been on a great track record the last phase and a half, or whatever. But I feel like if they try to get some of the humor and the color and the different things and some of the heart and emotion of the Guardians movies mixed in with some of the drama and intensity of the Avenger, like the Avenger title movies, I think that's a great mix, or at least, groundwork for what the X-Men movies should be.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're getting kind of away from the 97 right now, but I think the MCU as a whole, where I see the two biggest issues. One is there's just not a lot of like big name characters left. Like a lot of the big guys have either been killed off or they're, whatever, they've moved on. And then the other part is just the stories haven't been great. So, yeah, I feel like, with Fantastic Four coming in, with, hopefully the X-Men at some point soon, you've got characters that people care about, so that you've got that part. Now, if you can just write a good story, I think maybe the MCU could be, get some of that back where it was, where people actually want to go to the theater. Because it's been a while since I've heard anybody say, "Oh, I'm super excited about this Marvel movie coming up to go to the theater." It's a lot of, well, I'll wait till it's streaming and, see what it is, what it's about. So, yeah. Anyhow. All right. Well, that was X-Men 97. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you guys didn't get to bring up that you wanted to throw out there? Gambit in a half shirt.
Yes, he was in a half shirt. There's lots of basketball playing.
And I liked that part too. Like that, like that was from the original series too, where they would just like do stuff as a group. Like they would do regular people stuff, like play basketball or something. So it's not all got to be, fighting bad guys and seriousness.
I always preferred when they went off and did like the softball, but that basketball scene and their costumes they're wearing, most of them are straight out of X-Men issue 4 from the 91 comic series when Jim Lee took over that book. So, the situation, the dialogue, because they're merging like an early 80s storyline with a 90s setting and everything. So, but I like that. Yeah, when they played softball, the basketball, whatever. I always like that when you got to see them as Jubilee calls it. They calls them a family.
Yep.
Well, that whole scene, I was joking around the half shirt and stuff, but that whole scene where they're just like around the kitchen and just like talking and stuff, like I like that shit. Like where they're just people for a second,
Well, my one other nitpicky complaint is it's specifically Jubilee. I know she's like the kid. She's supposed to be like on the modern slang and stuff, but she says a couple things that are definitely not like 90s slang.
Yeah.
Like I think she calls
okay.
Magneto and Professor X like besties at one point. Like,
Mhm.
and then she says something about bling. Like those were.
I didn't catch up on that, but yeah.
It just was like
it's gonna happen.
Like when Jane in the Tarzan movie a couple years ago with Margot Robbie, she is like, "Oh my god!" when she sees the people in the village in Africa. I'm like, she didn't say that. There's no way she just said that in 18 whatever.
I
real
know the
Jane wouldn't say
historical.
Beautiful.
I'll be curious if they're actually going to go like the school route, because they did make a comment about like this is a school, and that's something that like it really hasn't been in the 90s series. Probably just more for animation or whatever. But they never had, like in the Fox movies, they had the classes and all the students and everything.
Yeah.
But they haven't really done that with this. It's always just been kind of the team in the school. So I'm curious if they're going to expand that as the season goes on and bring in some, give you a chance to see some lesser mutants that get less screen time.
That kid that they saved with like the solar powers, is he supposed to be somebody that we know, or is it
Sunspot?
Okay.
Did you watch New Mutants?
Yes. No.
No.
You should watch New Mutants. That's actually, for the most part, a semi-decent X-Men movie.
Okay. It's a live action movie.
Yep. Yeah. It's got Anna Taylor-Joy.
I did see that. That's where they're like locked up in like a institution
the
or
psych
something. Yeah. I did see that.
He's Sunspot. He's the guy that turns like all black and is like, like
Gotcha.
Like a sunspot.
Gotcha. I had forgotten about that.
I see what you did.
He's always like complaining about his shirt getting dirty in the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so we got good things to come, it sounds like.
There you go. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Brett Stoddart's photography.
We really haven't talked about that enough. So Trevor's talked about it enough for a while. So
I think Trevor heard about it enough.
That's true.
Week.
That's true. Greg, you at ToyCon this weekend?
I'll be this Sunday.
Nice. You'll be at the table?
I'll be a little bit everywhere.
Gotcha. Just bouncing around, huh?
Yeah. If B team needs me, I'll be there.
Gotcha. So that means A team is down in Toylanta?
For the most part.
Gotcha.
I thought it was just a team, like lowercase.
Like a team.
Team.
One team is here, a team is there.
Yeah.
Team. Oh.
Yeah.
B team doesn't make any decisions. We just follow the the big dogs. Do this, we do this.
Well, if you're anywhere on the East Coast this weekend, there is a horseman show near you somewhere. So go ahead and get there.
Drive safe tomorrow. It's going to be real nasty weather out here tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, coming in, drive safely. That's going to put a little damper on things because I'm sure folks that are going to line up Saturday morning might have a little windy problem. Windy, rainy problem.
We've had snow here today.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah. It's fun. Nice spring weather.
Well, so Greg, you said you're going to be there Sunday. Anything else you got going on that you want to promote? Anything on your Instagram or anything else you got coming up?
Greg, formerly Boot Scale, just posting my little pictures here and there of toys.
Amazing displays.
Yeah.
Making people jealous of your toy room.
I feel like it's motivation to do better.
Gotcha. I do have I've got a corner of we're getting ready to redo our floors, which actually next week I'm hoping I can do OffWorld next week, but they're going to be doing the floor in the living room. I got to take all my shit out of my DTOFs, box it up, move the DTOFs so that they can do the flooring. And there's a corner of my room that I'm going to do the Billy bookcases, Greg, where like they've got the ones that like go around the corner that like wrap around.
It's this one right here, probably that you're talking about. The one that's like in the corner right here.
Yeah.
But
so
I gotta tell you, man, I'll never do Billy's again.
well, I see what you're saying, and yes, it is more room. Unfortunately, my display is all in my living room, so I've also got to make it like look very living roomy. So the Billy has that they've got
Get
like
molding.
the white ones. Yeah, they've got the white ones that like go all the way to the ceiling and go around the corner. And my wife saw it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, those look nice. So I'm
Because
like,
what
all
you
right,
could always
we're
do,
gonna go with that.
you can get these, but get
Mm.
molding.
Gotcha.
Then you put nice fancy molding around where all the metal parts are, and that'll make it look, fancy and nice.
Yeah.
But then on the inside, you can have like little worlds in there,
Yeah, I've got some of those in my garage, and I definitely need to prettify them. I need to get some back, like something for the back too, because like mine's just open.
Staples.
What do you do? You just get like poster board or something?
I just go to Staples. I have them print out. I measured the size, and I have them print out like little trees or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I get cardboard and just glue it to the cardboard and put it right on the back, and it works. But get matte. Don't get glossy or semi-glossy.
Yeah, mine do.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, because my ones in the garage, I've got mostly like vintage stuff in the garage, and they're just open in the back, so it doesn't look as cool. So yeah, I need to at least get something back there. But yeah, I'm gonna get those Billy bookcases for the corner. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna light them. I'm thinking about doing like some track lighting up above that'll kind of shine down into it rather than doing individual lighting, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, cool displays. Check out Greg's Instagram. He's on the Cabal often, posting pictures as inspiration for you to make your own displays look awesome.
Yes.
Dooch, Legends of Grayskull. We were looking at it. You guys are on a very long hiatus right now. Is there something you guys got coming up? That
well, we were just waiting for all the revealed special. We should have had one this week, but because the revealed thing was Thursday and Friday, we decided to hold off. And then they also said they're going to release the full, what are we in now? Fall catalog on Tuesday. So we're kind of waiting for all that to come out. That way we don't drop an episode and then they reveal everything.
So maybe next week sometime?
Yeah, next week we should have one out.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Jesse and I, this Sunday, we've got Chris Garich on, and he is going to talk about biblical adventures and probably be bouncing off the walls and filled up with sugar and just
good luck.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm excited to talk to his figures should be coming soon. I mean, it should be, on the horizon. So hopefully he'll give us an update on that. What we can expect going forward as far as, maybe a second wave or whatever else. So yeah, we'll pick his brain on that. We'll probably, I'm sure, talk some Four Horsemen stuff as well. And then as far as the Wednesday win shots, we just put out one on Knight's Tale that has been, I think, received pretty positively. I think a lot of people have, said that they really like that movie, enjoyed it. We've been putting those out each week. So those are always things that we're just recommending that we like. It's never going to be anything that we're going to critique or tell you that is shit. So if you check those out and you see one, before you even go into it, just know me and Jesse are going to be recommending it, and then you can watch it and see what we say. But Jesse, anything else?
I think you nailed it all.
You had Len on this week for your Mythic Minute. Do you know what you got for next week lined up?
No, just the guest thing like that is just the end of each month. I'll do or Thursday of the month. I'll do one of the approved retailers. So I don't have my April one lined up yet. I don't think. I'll have to check. But yeah, we'll see what next week. What gets in my head for next Thursday.
Beautiful. All right. And then I will be assisting with Purple Gang Gang Live tomorrow. They will be in Toylanta, so I'm not sure if they're gonna just set up in the hallway, kind of like they did at what was that, ZoloCon?
Zolo, yeah.
Mhm.
Or if they're going to be in their room or whatever. But I'll be there to assist, and we'll see how that goes. So, all right. Anything else, gentlemen?
I know you guys did your hauls a little earlier.
Oh yeah.
But I just got this in, and you can't
Is
go
that
wrong
Super
with
7?
That this is Super 7, and Bill Mancuso had a hand in this.
Oh, cool.
So this was really cool.
Nice.
Love me some Billy
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Nice.
Bartman.
Everybody,
Really
if you
cool.
can, do the Bartman.
Yeah,
Is that a wired cape or is that plastic?
it is wired. It is wired.
Oh, nice.
It's really cool. Got the little controller on the belt.
Nice.
Slingshot,
comes with a
everything.
skateboard. Yeah.
Oh, he comes with a skateboard too. Nice.
Yep. Not only that, but comes with the pooch.
Nice.
Santa's little helper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So this was a really cool. And I
Oh,
got
that helped.
Krusty too, but he's in the living room. I didn't bring him in.
Yeah,
Cool.
don't bring him. I don't want to see that.
You're not a Krusty fan?
No, I don't like clowns.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
I did not know that.
Wow, dude, really?
what? I didn't say anything.
What do you do?
No, he posted in the Legend Daddies.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
What did he post?
Technically, she was with Magneto first.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Let me see if I still have it up here.
I will say that I agree with Jesse that I think that those two are better not together.
Which two?
Gambit and Rogue.
Oh yeah, I don't necessarily want Gambit and Rogue together, but
Yeah.
I don't like Magneto and Rogue either. Like that's just
that's weird.
They
That's
have a
weird.
good story in the comics. It gets to a point where, like, you know, they come to terms with things, and I like that, but
I
think-
didn't see this post. I missed this.
I don't necessarily want them to end up together, like getting married or anything. But I liked the romance they had in some of the stories.
The other thing is that the original, like the actual 90-something series, I felt like she played as an older character, whereas with this series, it feels like she's much younger. Like when I was a kid watching the X-Men series, I thought, she's like, late 20s, early 30s, whatever. In this series, she feels like she's a teenager. So
I always thought she was like maybe early to mid 20s. Like I viewed her just a little bit older than Jubilee. Like she was the youngest.
she seems younger in this series.
In the comics at the time, she was the youngest before, like excluding like the New Mutants kids that weren't part of the story at that point. Jubilee was the youngest, and then Rogue was like in her early
Magneto
20s.
was around in the Holocaust. So
And
That's
Beast
the
was
thing.
only like 30 years old in the 90s comics, or even early 2000s comics.
And I guess my big thing is like how they're acting like they already had a thing,
right?
Where I don't remember there ever even being alluding to a thing.
Not
with
in
them.
the
when she was a bad guy. Before
Not in
she
the-
became
not in the
Not in
series.
this
though.
series. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So for them to all of a sudden be like, I don't know, it feels weird. And then like Curtis said, because she feels so young and he's like 107, like it's I don't know.
It's weird when it's Magneto, but it's not weird when it's vampires, huh?
Correct.
When it's
Yes,
vampire.
obviously.
Magneto likes him young,
I liked
What
their
vampires are we talking about? Oh, just in general.
Any vampires, just in general, like, oh, I'm 655 years old. I'm gonna hang out with this 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, but they don't look old.
Yeah.
Like
It was
Magneto
a
looks
joke.
like
It
an
was a
old
joke.
dude. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen too many old dudes that are jacked like Magneto.
I do. They usually die early because they're just working out too much.
I will say though,
good
you
thing
reminded me of one thing I really liked though was the fact that like Rogue was the one to go to him and be like, "Hey, look, you can't just come in here demanding that everyone's like, oh, you're the leader now. Like you've got to earn that." Like in that, because they had set the groundwork of her, hooking up, being in cahoots with Mystique and almost killing Carol Danvers and everything. Like, I like that relationship as far as like Rogue's like, hey, look, if you're gonna make this work, I've already done this. Like you're doing it the wrong way. I liked that. I don't know why we had to take that to a romance thing. Maybe it'll pay off. I don't know, but right now I'm just like, this is.
Oh,
weird.
I don't need it to pay off in this story. I like acknowledging that there was something there at some point, like, and that they've got feelings for it. And I think it's just to, make Gambit upset for the show. Because he's holding his Queen of Hearts card in the hallway and he crumples it up. Oh, poor Gambit.
I was actually hoping that the Marvels movie would end with Rogue coming out and killing Captain Marvel, but that didn't happen. Thought that would be a nice segue into X-Men, and it'd be a whole two birds one stone kind of thing.
It could still happen, and I wouldn't be upset.
Get my X-Men, get rid of Captain Marvel, and yeah, we're set.
Technically, she's just in a coma.
Yeah. I love how we finished that segment, moved on, we're closing out the show, and then went right back into it.
Yep.
Have you met us?
I have.
Welcome to OffWorld, folks.
All right, a little off. Anything else before we close out the show? Look at us wrapping up in 2 hours.
Drink your water.
If it wasn't for Jesse, we'd be under 2 hours.
That's what happens when we don't have Sean here yapping in our ears the whole time.
That's like a whole extra hour.
I was joking because Sean doesn't.
You're
do
saying
a lot of talking.
I bring the endurance, so you're welcome.
That's what we were saying.
Yes, I'm always all about your endurance, Jesse.
It's insane.
You don't even
Until
know.
next time.
So good.
All night long.
We'll see you on the OffWorld.